All right, y'all. We are back. Hey, it is Brittany again, y'all. Look, if the outfit looks the same, y'all, I did not get to change. I batch record. Okay, let me just say this: I batch record, and I did not get to change. But it's okay. We could repeat it. But all of the episodes are still going to be just as juicy. But I'm somebody mama for real, and I was busy, so that's just the thing. So hey, welcome. If this is your first time tuning in, I'm Brittany Rajiel Birdie, the founder of Rich Mamas Club. And these conversations are near and dear to my heart because literally I've been having some conversations with friends that we would have behind the scenes without a camera, right? And it would be so amazing just to get these gems. And I'm like, man, women don't get this type of wisdom. And I'm so grateful that God gave me the spirit to just connect with people because I get to get some amazing gems to share with people. But I was like, look, we're gonna turn this into a podcast and we're gonna record it. But most of these have been either my friends or people I'm getting to know that are just amazing. This guest is a founding member of Rich Mamas Club. She also was one of our very first activations that we did as a collaboration with the Brilliant Sport Party. But before all of that, y'all, she was one of my life coaches in the Accelerator. And when I say I connected with her on a deep level, and I consider her now like a big sister that I never had. I just appreciate her shine, her brilliance, her just fairness too. And she's just such a beautiful ball of light and energy. And I promise if I could be half as amazing as her when I grow up, look, I would be so honored. She's an amazing wife, mom, life coach, MBA, business coach, all of the things, right? But I just want to introduce y'all to Miss Renee L. Cunningham of the Polish Experience. Hey, Renee!
Here. Oh my
God. Look.
Hey girl, hey.
Yes. Look, we just seen each other earlier, y'all. We had a photo shoot today, but like when y'all see this, the photo's gonna already be out. But yes, it has been a thing. And look, I didn't have time to change my shirt, but I rock my Polish Experience shirt often around these parts. Okay, Renee, I gave you my intro of being, a sister friend, as they say. But tell the people who you are in this journey to becoming, the life coach that you are.
Well, thank you, first of all, Brittany, for allowing me to be here. And I have to tell you that as Renee L. Cunningham, the diamond polisher, it has been an experience to watch you shine, girl. My job and my command has honestly been to walk alongside women such as yourself to not just help them to discover, but refine so that they can shine and embrace all that they are. Everything that you're doing now, I'm super proud of because it's always been inside of you. So a part of my coaching system, I do monthly, I do 12 months as well as 2-year programs where I allow women to really discover who they are. And sometimes people say, oh, well, I know who I am, but are you living in it? Are you owning it, or are you shrinking when other people walk in the room? I can truly say when I met Brittany, she's trying to hide in the corner. Y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, she's hiding at it. But the beautiful thing
why now? Let's look. Yeah, I was hiding in the corner, but like I was hiding for a good reason. Let me just say
you were. And most women nowadays, if you have been bruised or hurt or just mistrust or things have been mishandled in your life, it's a protective shield.
Yeah.
So I brought in some demonstrations so people can see exactly what I do. One of my things in my business is the diamond, and I use the 58 facet concept where that each one of us have been cut by life's experiences. Those are the facets in the diamond. First of all, we have to be uncovered. That's that dirt that lies on us, and we don't understand who we are and what we bring to the table. We know we have an idea and a vision, and we can't sleep at night because that dream keeps waking us up. But people, when you show people who you are and they don't really appreciate it and they cut you or they use you and all that good stuff, it hurts. But what I found is that it actually develops who you are. Each one of those facets are life experiences. The most important thing that I do during my process is allow you to embrace those experiences, look at the perspective of it, and allow the light to shine through. One thing you talked about earlier and how I present myself or how I walk in a room, I understand it's the light that I bring. The light is going to drive out the darkness. So all the bad things that happen to us that really stop us from hindering and obtaining our goals can be changed by using the diamond and the experiences in your life so you can shine. So So that's what my process does. I walk with women as well as men in this life. They can be entrepreneurs, they can be individuals in the corporate, they can be mommies like Rich Mamas Club itself. And I love the ability to just allow you to rediscover who you are and own it and walk therein. My theme for my company is let your life shine daily. If you're going to shine, that's not being boisterous, that's not being rude or I'm a boss and all that stuff. It's about being confident in who you are.
Yeah.
You can show up to unlock other things. Because what you've done, Brittany, honestly, is taken everything that's inside of you and put it in its proper perspective so that you can, first of all, balance motherhood, balance being a woman, balance being a wife, but then also being the entrepreneur and the friend that you are to so many and the connector. So truly being able to put all those pieces, those facets of yourself together allowed you to shine. So that's what I'm here to do for other people as well.
Look, okay, y'all. We gotta unpack some things. So one, during this process, I seen you doing your behind the scenes. This your live podcast in
Yes,
your home. Here being local with us. You're relocating, but one, you're a mom, your wife. You're not a new entrepreneur. I know this particular business that you're in is a newer business, but
yes,
let's talk. Well, one, before we even get there, y'all, I gotta tell y'all something. Let me tell you about the first time I met Renee. I had missed the first class for the accelerator. And when I came in, so I never got to meet you because I think the first thing was like online and there was some
yes.
miscommunication or something there. Um, she came in the room and she was talking and she was like, "Oh, them stepchild," and she had this red hair and was just so lively and full. I'm like, "Who is this woman?" Like, one, I was like, "She loud," like,
Yes, yeah.
but you were just who you were, right? You were
Mhm,
just who you were, and that was like really impressive to the fact that like, oh, I'm not gonna shrink when I get in this room. And
mhm,
I've had like a history and been in certain places and where you are this big personality, and and people like, oh, girl, you wearing too much color, and oh, you're doing this and you're doing that. So I
mhm,
had so many things in my life that had got me to a point where I was just like, okay, I'm gonna be all I can be when I'm not in my city. Because when I'm in my city, people tell me I'm too much. Right. When
mhm,
I'm in certain rooms, people expect me. So I had really closed off a lot of things. Because I just felt like there wasn't space for me. Let me just say that because some of the things that had happened here. And now I've learned, throughout some of the process and being able to process during some sessions with you, of like, okay, like, look, this is what it really is. But I think so many people with big personalities, like you're bold, like, and you are naturally, that's who God created you to be, not
yeah,
people who are doing it for attention and all those other things. Because naturally, people with big personalities, we garner attention, right? We're
yeah,
friendly, we're all of the things, right?
mhm,
But I just appreciate, like, I love that. That's my first memory of you because it shows you didn't shrink in certain like you are who you are. Like it doesn't matter who didn't know you in the room. That's who you were at that moment.
mhm,
Like that's just what it
yeah,
was, right? And for
mhm,
me, I have always, well, I think in my adulthood, I had learned to become conscious
mhm.
of how I go into certain places because how it will be perceived. And I think that over the course of the last 2 years, and I'm just like, I don't even care no more. Like this is what it is.
And
You
you don't. And I am so proud of you. I'm going to say that. What I'm going to tell you, it's a process.
Yeah.
And what I've learned is that I love a lot of things about my face, I think. But the first thing that I had to learn to love was my lips and to wear red lipstick. And it was
Mm,
because when I was a young girl, I probably was about 11, no, I was 12 or 13. I called myself, your mom said you can do one thing. So I put on lipstick and I put on this red lipstick and I walked outside my door into the driveway with my uncle and my dad was there. And the first thing they said to me is, "Ooh, all we see is lips coming. That's too much."
mm,
Made me shrink immediately.
mhm.
And I was very self-conscious about my lips. And I did not want to wear loud colors and all that good stuff. But I was kept being drawn to it. What I found out from that experience itself is that people have their own limiting experiences and beliefs. I cannot allow it to take on who I am. Uh, One of my things my mom taught me as she found out is when I started wearing makeup and things of that nature and how I would be a little apprehensive. She said, Renee, embarrassment. People say, "Oh, I'm so embarrassed." That's an emotion that you can control,
Mm.
not somebody else controlling that. Ooh, they when you walk into the room, they go, "Ooh, girl, you too loud." And I've heard that a lot too. Use your indoor voice. I don't have an indoor voice. I am team too much. So come on, join team too much. But what I found is that if I was able to make myself comfortable, because we only got one time to live this life, this thing called life, in this journey, and I don't want to live with regrets. So being able to embrace all of me, the hair, the lipstick, the loud talk, the laughing, and be able to be present in the room, I'm learning now that that changes somebody else that's over in the corner that don't understand why things are happening to them. They just needed somebody to pick them up for the day. I'm on a mission. So being myself is truly, like that poem says, I'm giving I'm giving permission for the next person to be their true authentic self. So thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Yes, yes, y'all. Oh my God, so much to go into. How did so I got a certification to be a life coach like a few years ago. Well, somebody bought me one and I never did it because people like I have the ability, which I believe you have too, like people know, like, and trust you rapidly.
Yes.
So, baby, I know where all the bodies are buried for some folks. And I think that's also where some people it's some people like they'll just go and they'll talk bad about you publicly. And there's some people who won't never let them entertain that
Yes.
because when you are, Tracy Berry McGee has this thing called Sister Keepers. And I think that really embodies like your process as a life coach. You
Yes.
keep sisterhood. What was that moment where you knew like, okay, like I need to be a life coach and I need to work with women in particular who have had that, like we're shrinking, like people have told you you're too much, you're too loud, you're too like, so now you always feel like you're not enough because you don't fit the mold. What was that moment for you when you were like, oh, like this is what I'm supposed to be doing?
Good question, Brittany. So I'm going to take you back. The pandemic really did a lot of things for a lot of people. Both of my parents went into the hospital at the same time. They both were diagnosed with COVID. And unfortunately, my dad did not make it. But what I found through that process, because I live out of state and my parents live in Michigan, so immediately I came home and we didn't know what was going on. So I began to clean and get things together and organized. But what I found during that cleaning process, during that separation, that sanctification process, is that time is so important. And what do you want to do now that matters? Because selling life insurance is wonderful. I still have my license. I still do that as well. But what do I do now? What have I done consistently through my life? I honestly believe that God puts us all on a journey and we have little clues along the way. Like, what's her name? Dorothy and the, not the three bears. Was it the Goldilocks?
Oh, Goldilocks. Yeah.
So when you're in the forest, she was leaving little bits and stuff along the way so she can remember her way back. Our life leaves little pieces and trails. This experience happened to you, and this experience happened to you. I have always been a leader. So president of the Usher Board, the Youth Usher Board. I graduated in college as I was a homecoming queen of a predominantly white college. I was the president of that local sorority. I've always been a leader, even in the workplace. In my church home, though, I really was the president of a young women's Christian council, which allowed me the opportunity to have that ministerial side. But we talked about prayer and building relationships. So it's always been in me. But now, instead of just doing it on a nonprofit, a free girl, come on over here, let's have the good girlfriend night or the game night and talk about some things, I took what God had naturally given me and I incorporated it. Because I believe that everyone that starts a business have to do something that they're passionate about. For me, it's all about walking alongside with women to make them better. My life quote has been, I want to make you better. When you come to my space, I want you to be better when you leave me. So when you leave me, I want you to be better. So that means that you have really moved into an area of, okay, how and what and who do I need to have in my life space to make me better? And that's me. I've always been a resource as well. If I don't know it, I know somebody that do. So bringing all those pieces together allow me the opportunity to develop the polished experience.
Okay, y'all. Okay. We get into, so you talked about, when you moved to St. Louis, let's talk about that because you vaguely mentioned you were a life insurance agent. Let's talk about you getting into that industry. And were you already a mom at that point? How did with your mother?
Brittany, you want the good
Oh,
stuff.
I go
Okay.
first. I
Mhm.
gotta pause because you and your husband were high school sweethearts, and then you
Yes,
didn't
high
have
school best friends. Actually, we were best
best
friends first.
Okay,
Hmm.
talk to us. What I
Okay.
want to hear.
Mhm.
I never had a chance to ask this because I didn't know. You know, my dad passed in COVID, and I didn't know your dad
Mhm.
passed from COVID too. But yeah, I was in the program when my dad passed away with you guys, and I'm grateful I had that. But I want to talk about you being married, transition, finding yourself with your, your high school best friend, sweetheart, and then becoming who you are now. Because what I'm experiencing with a lot of women that I'm connected to is that it's really rare that someone can grow with you and allow you to blossom into who you're supposed to be.
Okay.
So yeah, and that's what I'm noticing. Like a lot of people, it's a season where they need to shift, and you and your husband have been able to grow together. Y'all like I see, like y'all love each other. They love each other for real. Look at them. I'm like, they love each other. So let's
Yes,
talk about
I
that
do.
process of becoming an entrepreneur, growing up, and then becoming different. Evolving as a human while you're married and becoming a parent. So let's talk about that.
Excellent question. So, what I tell individuals is that mentorship. I always had wise women behind me, and two women specifically that I know that were in my life that talked to me when I was younger and encouraged me to continue to pray that you guys grow together. That's the first thing.
Mm,
Because as life happens, you both went to college, we both went to college. He went to Chicago, I came here, and we had to be able to have a strong communication and be able to laugh and joke with each other. And sometimes we had hurt feelings and things happen, but we always were able at the core to tell each other the truth. So I would encourage that young woman or that man itself to first of all pray that you all continue to grow together and that you have the hard conversations. Now, the
mm,
hard conversations sometimes in our house, especially when I was younger, I would have to turn and look at the wall because I would
mm.
have that one tear. How many y'all know that one
Oh
tear
yeah,
when you
yeah,
get really emotional or worked up, and it's not that you're sad or anything. You didn't hurt my feelings, but I know that this is hard for me to tell you because I'm standing on who I want to be and who I am as an individual. What I think sometimes is so many people get lost in the being a mother and being a wife that they forget their own identity. So
mm,
having the ability to really do things that you like. I love to color. I love to go out and have explore new cities and new restaurants with or without my husband. I have the ability to go and I love to journal. So keeping those things constant of what I like allow me to continue to be an individual.
yeah.
And
Mm,
then when things start happening as far as changing. So went to school, got my master's, all that good stuff in banking and finance. I don't really want to be in corporate America sometimes.
mm,
Sometimes. But honey, this is where I would like to be, and this is what I would like to do. He's always been able to say, well, I support your dream. Even moving to St. Louis. And we was 14 of us that when we first moved here. And that
mm.
was the scariest conversation that I ever had with my husband because we had just bought a house in 2015. 2 years prior, we bought a brand new house, and I'm getting ready to tell my husband, May of 27, that I have an opportunity to come to St. Louis, start a life insurance company, and I gotta go because for me, it felt like the air was leaving the room if I didn't go.
Mm.
He said, Renee, I didn't say nothing the first night. He said, Renee, I knew something was wrong because you when you slept, you was just tossing and turning stuff. I just was waiting on you to say something. I said, well, I really didn't know how to bring it up to you because I just feel this push that I need to go to St. Louis. He says,
Hmm.
well, he works remote, so we can do it, Renee, but we got to work through it and stuff. So me and the boys, of course, have to stay back and get things transferred and stuff. But you go and see how it is. So that summer, me and those 14 people, I slept on people floor and on the couch and all this stuff. We was just in rooms, and it was fun, but it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
What I found that made my Darnell and our relationship work is that we were willing to work on each other. So
Mm.
when we moved here in 2018, after getting the life insurance company, establishing winning records and all that good stuff, I saw that our relationship, the date nights, the loving and the kissing and the intimacy was not where it used to be. So I researched and found a couple that's here locally that's called marriage, dynamic marriages. And
Hmm.
dynamic marriages had a retreat, not a retreat, but a conference where it was 8 weeks. You come to their office, and we met 5 different other couples, and they gave us that Gotham book, and we went through the marriage principles together each week. That pushed us. So, what I would encourage other married couples to do is really, first of all, pray. Second of all, maintain who you are, your identity, so you don't lose it, whatever those little gems are. But then also seek out other couples that want you all to win, that don't have anything. Like, I love my mom, I love my dad, I love my pastor, I love all my friends that I have. We have friends, but some of the things that we were talking about or not talking about, we needed some fresh eyes. So
Yeah.
we actually went to this counseling session, and that 8 weeks just completely re-sparked our love for one another and our genuine like for one another. Because one thing I could tell, and Darnell will tell you if we ever get an opportunity to get a couples interview, is that at one point I didn't like him anymore.
Mm.
And I had to learn to like him again. And y'all ladies can understand that. We can do what we got to do for because it is an obligation. But if I don't like you, there's a problem.
Yeah.
So being able to be with those other couples and talk about those life hard things and rediscover what we like about each other and look at each other and spend that time to connect. I think a lot of couples, when you get ready to change and shift, they, instead of we going this way right here, you go to the right and you forgot that you left your husband going this way.
Yeah.
Hold on now. You can't go completely to the left without him. The two is one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So being always able to reach back or to the side and say, honey, can we hold hands? I'm doing something different here, or he's doing something different. Are you willing to go and hang out with him? I can tell you now, even with us, you alluded to it earlier, with us moving to Dallas.
Yeah.
I knew that it was in the back of my mind, but I love my connections here that I got in Missouri. And the people and the girlfriends and the laughter, and I could be my authentic self. Dallas is something different.
Yeah.
But when I saw my husband and I, we went to visit and survey the land and stuff, and we walked into a room of our college friends. And I saw my husband light come on and start talking and laughing and all stuff. I knew at that moment, oh, whatever we got to do to get to Dallas. Because that man, that's the man I married. That's the man that I want to see move on as we move in through this thing called life. We don't have children in the house anymore. We're empty nesters. So I got to be able to like him, and he got to be able to like me. So whatever it takes, baby, I'm here for it. So women, you got to be here for whatever it takes to make your man happy. And if he's here for whatever it takes to make you happy, that's worth saving and worth the connection.
Yes. Oh, that's so good, y'all. I wish I had a clapper. Oh, I got my popcorn. I gotta get it. Ah! Man, so good. And like we're doing, so there's this. Have you heard of Black Marriage Day?
Yeah, no, not Black Marriage Day. No, I heard it's a club though.
There's Black Marriage Day that another mom social club told me about that they do every year in Atlanta, and we're gonna do it here next year. So I feel like we gotta talk because we gotta have you and Darnell come and give the gems from just evolving with each other. You know, we're gonna chat more about that, but I definitely I understand the effort that it takes to make something move, you know. And now this being my second marriage, y'all, this is my me and my husband's both second marriage. And I appreciate what I had in the first one because it allowed me to grow and really blossom in what I have now. And the same thing for my husband. I think it was necessary. Like there's some people who can grow with a person, and there's some people that they need that person to grow, but that don't mean y'all supposed to be together.
Yes, from a distance.
And again, it's some people that you need them to refine some things. Like if God is using them to refine some things in you and to help you to discover who you are, but that doesn't mean you're meant to be together. But I feel like when a relationship like yours, like y'all was meant to be together and y'all willing to put the stuff together to make sure you stay together. You get what I'm saying?
You're gonna fight for me. Oh my goodness. I ran out of gas last night at 11:40. My husband got out of bed and came on out there and seen. And I didn't know. I thought it was something going on with the car. He sat there with me. And this morning I said, honey, I'm sorry. He said, it's all right. He said, but you're my wife. And I had to get there. I just feel a little bit longer. A little bit more.
And everybody don't got it. Everybody don't get it. I gotta say it like that, y'all. Everybody don't got it. Now, one thing I love that you had told me about, and this is something I wish I can't say this. I think everything is in sequence the way it's supposed to be because my husband and I both had previous marriages, and when we got together, where I was in my late 20s, he was in his early 30s. So now, with like we've been together 5 years now, married 4. But we didn't have like we only had a year with each other.
Mhm.
We got a year we got married. Then the next year we had Amara. And what I love about what you share with me is that you waited till you were 30 to have children, and y'all got to experience some life with each other. So sometimes I mourn for that because I had, I got married in COVID, I had my baby in COVID.
Mhm.
So a lot of those memories I don't have yet with my family. Like we've never been on a family vacation like yet. But I know that, there's a season for everything. This was supposed to happen this way, but I admire the fact that like you got to live a little bit, and I feel like I lived, but I didn't get to live with him. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? Like
You
so now we
understand?
like we have this Tyler, and I'm like, oh, I gotta figure out how we gonna make like what I'm saying. I gotta make time for this too.
Yes.
What was it like adding kids into your mix after you had been with this person most of your life?
Hmm. So Darnell, neither one of us had. You know, how some people say, "Oh, I babysat children, and I know how to change a diaper." Both of us was completely green. My
Mm,
mom said when we said we were pregnant with Dion, they said we didn't think y'all was gonna have kids. We had been together,
mm,
married for 6 years before we had children. So when Dion came, it was more so. And as I tell this, and I hope nobody gets offended, I had a Becky moment. That's what I call it.
mm.
I was
Okay.
sitting in the window. I was nursing because my mom and my grandma, none of them really nursed. So I nursed, and they looking at me like, "What are you doing?" That's why I say it's the best milk. I want to do it.
Yeah.
But the baby Dion was not stop. He would not stop crying, and I was just holding him in the window, looking out the window, just crying. And I was like, "Okay, nobody coming to save you." I
Mm,
had a C-section as well, so um, I couldn't walk upstairs, so I was downstairs and all this stuff. Nobody was at the house. It was just me and this baby. I was adamant on being home for the 6 weeks and spending the time so I would get to know him and he would get to know me. And I am the type of woman that I don't want you to be able to know more about my children than I do.
man.
So I'm going to spend the necessary time to know when their voice sound a little bit crazy or they twitching or I can tell when they walking or whatever if something's not right. So I had to at that point pull myself together and say, okay, now Renee, this you and this baby, and this child belongs to you. And how are you going to move and calm yourself down? Because children, honestly, they feed off of us. If we nervous and all over the place and stuff, they're gonna be nervous and all over the place. So I had to calm myself down and really sit there and just pray and ask God to help me to learn my son. Because my oldest, he had scarlet fever when he was 3 years old. So every bit of skin on him is brand new. Didn't know what the heck. He had allergic reaction to penicillin.
Wow.
Then just how difficult things was happening. He was diagnosed with ADHD. And at first, and I'll tell any mama, it is not your fault. I was embarrassed. What's wrong with my baby? What's going on? I did it the right way. Why? Not knowing that God blessed me with a son to take care of him because he knew I had that heart to do. So I tell any mother that has the child that learns differently
Mhm.
to get the necessary things that you need to get done. I took off work and was able to kind of go in the classroom and fight and be his advocate. He graduated with straight A's and got a great scholarship from high school and in college and stuff. I'm telling you all, it can work, but God bless you with that child. So, what I would say for me, especially since I didn't have children and I never experienced that, is that you have to, first of all, be able to dig inside yourself and say, okay, why me? And God said back to me, why not you? I trust
Mm,
you.
mhm.
And know that he trusts you with this child. He trusts you with this situation. He trusts you with this husband. He trusts you with this thing that's going on in your life right now that you're able to handle it. Just slow down, ask for wisdom, and keep moving in it. I also want to say, ask for sound counsel. I have some great people around me. Now,
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm gonna tell you right now, there are some people out here that some women that they know it all. Now they know it all. Sometimes you got to figure out where they're coming from. What's their theme? Are they coming to say they know it? Oh, I told her to do that. I can't take that. If you give me some advice and I take it, let me come to you. Don't you go telling and broadcasting to nobody else, because I'll never come to you again. And
Yeah.
what I found in this particular generation and the people that I hang out with now is that we want to be helpers to each other because we want each other to win. Just like today, we had an excellent example, you all. One of our young ladies.
I gotta pause. I gotta pause because this was 2 years. I was telling Dave, I was like, it was 2 years in a row. I was telling Dave, and I was also telling the ladies I was doing a podcast before, that 2 years in a row, you have came over prepared. Because I needed your shoes last year. Last year, my shoes broke, and I wore Renee's shoes. And then this year, another sister split, but it was another sister's shoe broke. And then another sister came and wrapped her shoe around her and held her up, and we were holding her up. And I know what that meant for her because she's going through some things, you know, but like I feel like that was God ordained for her to know she's not alone. But then you had another pair of shoes, and go figure that the girl could fit the shoes twice.
Yes.
Okay, you can tell now.
No. Let's talk about that. Let's see. So God is amazing. When you think about somebody's shoes, sometimes you think people don't understand and that they haven't been that way.
Yeah.
That type of thing happens to me all my life. So now, Brittany, what I've learned to embrace it and to listen, because I don't know when or how, but it's going to come to pass or it's going to be used. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
We didn't know that. We were all there together. So what I'm going to encourage other people to do is that, please, whatever your gift is, or whatever that small things is that you think that's too much, do it, because you never know when somebody else is going to need it. That type of thing, being able to provide some shoes, some covering, some shelter, some safety for someone is what we as women are supposed to do. And it's in my heart to do it. Yeah. And it's natural now. And I'm excited about it because I walk therein, and it is liberty. So for anybody that wants liberty or freedom, finding out those things that make you unique and stand in them, no matter if it don't look like nobody in your family. If it don't look like none of your friend group, you may be the friend. Be the friend and keep moving.
You got to be what you want to see. And now I feel like now you got, like, we can't do a Rich Mama's Club photo shoot without you being there. And not just because you had the shoes, but it also, in another program that I was in, she had something called Matriarchs. And shout out to my other big sister, Precious L. Williams, who was a matriarch in that program, right? And when I knew what I wanted to create here, but it takes someone to go through things in life and no one to be that covering for you, or even experience that covering and then notice everybody doesn't have it. That's where this podcast came from, because I did not have it. Like, people have been asking me to do a podcast for years, and I had, like, I felt I'm not gonna be consistent enough, I'm not gonna do all this other stuff. But then I realized, like, God, you have put me in certain places where I have privileges that other people don't have. And I just knew it wasn't just for me. It's not just for me and my house to be good. It wasn't like, I've always been able to connect people and make sure that people have opportunities and arrange things and maximize things. That's been a spiritual gift of mine since I was a child, just like yours, right? Mm-hmm. But we don't realize how much, like, to that person who's struggling with, like, whether it's a quarter life crisis or midlife crisis or becoming a mom and your identity, that thing that comes naturally to you that sometimes you're like, is this enough? It's more than enough.
It's more than enough.
Needed, you know? So I just, man, I got to pull that clip, because I feel like that's when I got to be on social media. Just the spiritual significance of that moment 2 years in a row of with you being a matriarch in our community and being like a big sister. And then also with that, fostered in that moment. And I'm like, okay, the photographer, we got 20 minutes. I'm like, okay, we got to get this together. I was like, are we gonna be good? I'll just pay for more time, because I'm just always thinking about the logistics. But then I was like, God, thank you for that. I facilitated a community where it's not all upon me to make sure everything was good, and then we have people that understand we got to stay ready, so we ain't got to get ready because I wasn't ready. You know what I'm saying? It matters who you mess with. It matters who's in your circle. It matters so much. So yeah, I don't even know where we can go through all of the things. I do. What's the last thing that I really want? You're getting ready to relocate. You relocated. You're originally from Detroit. You moved down here to Missouri. You've been moving further and further to the south. Now you're gonna be in Texas.
Yes.
We got a little bit of okay. So now you're gonna be in Texas and moving. What do you think the significant is in that journey? Like, like, do you feel like, well, one, like you say, you felt called, your spirit felt unsettled when it came to moving to Louis. What it's for someone who be in a season where it might be time to move or that it talk about just like what that experience. And here's the thing, y'all, it might not be the same for you, but for whoever who's listening to this, what is something that you felt like, okay, now I know this is the next move I need to make in my life?
Okay. So when my youngest son graduated from high school, the way the agreement went is that 1 year later we would move to Dallas. Last May, same time, Darnell came to me and said, "Oh, well, we're on the clock now." I'm like, "On the clock for what? What did you talking about?" He said, "In a year, we're going to be moving to Dallas." I said, "Oh, you're right." Got quiet. Things of that nature kind of went through and said, January come, we're going to start packing and we start getting things together. But I listened to, and this is going to be a shameless plug for him and anybody want him, Tim Ross, The Basement. I love him. Oh, I love him. He is the best. And I was listening to one of his podcasts, and he, if anybody knows his story and stuff, he left from being a pastor in Dallas at Embassy and then stepped down to own and start his own podcast and app and all that good stuff. And then much success. God just blew it out of his mind and stuff. But what he said that touched my heart and made me say, wait a minute, hold on, Jesus, I got a different thing. He said, I had to tell people, I'm not leaving ministry. I'm following him. So mic drop, girl. I'm like, can I still hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah? I was on the floor by that time. Thank you, Jesus. Because I'm going to tell anyone that when their life changes or you have to move or do something that you didn't see or your heart didn't line up to where you said you was going to go, but God always knows, is that remember, you're not leaving. So when I think about all of you all, I'm not leaving y'all. I'm following Jesus. I'm following the next step itself, knowing that you all are a part of my St. Louis story, which the door will never close.
Yeah. We locked in for life.
Period. You already know you coming down there. We already talked about 2025 already.
Look, y'all, you're going to see a chapter down there. We're going to have some events, all of the things. Like, I know that for sure. Yes. But I love the fact that, you mentioned like, okay, I'm following him. Because I even feel like that. And I've always been a lifestyle entrepreneur, which means like my business has to fit my lifestyle. So it's not about being able to sell it one, I thought it was, but God has showed me that hey, in this season this is what you need, and I felt really overwhelmed and I feel like I was pouring out so much. So now, like this podcast, I also feel like I'm getting poured into. I'm creating a platform, I'm creating community. We're able to meet people where they are, we're able to leverage technology, but then also like I get something out of this, y'all. Selfishly, I get something out of it. But I had been at a point where I did not know how to receive for a long time because I was a people pleaser and I was doing all this. But in this season of my life, I know that it looks like I need to spend more quality time with my family. I need to be more present here, and I also need more mentorship, more wise counsel. So why would I not create an opportunity? Because I know I have it. My child getting into private school, us moving here, like it was all me tapping into community.
Yes.
So like, God, if you gave me this gift, like I'm following God to use these gifts weren't just for us.
Yes.
Those of us who are believers, we know that it wasn't created just for us. Yes, God wants you to have, an amazing life and all those other things, but it's also for you to do his good works so other people will know that he loves them. We are meant to be blessings to other people. So I'm so excited for, your journey and what you are going to like. Look, Dallas, y'all are in for a treat. I know so many people down there I'm going to connect you with that definitely I'm sure could use your community, your spirit, your energy in that space. What is something as we wrap you want another mom to know? I know we didn't really talk much about your business, or we talked about your business processes, but was there anything that you want to share with someone about just life? You know what I'm saying? Anything that you really want to leave that, hey, this is something that I want you to remember from this if you don't take anything else.
Okay. I'm going to kind of piggyback off what you just was talking about as far as the community in life. If we remember as human beings as a spiritual being having a human experience, that we are a tool. So I don't know how big my screen can be, but I'm going to do the arrow like this. I believe that up here, God sends down whatever. Oh, there you go. There you go. It's like that. So God sends it down and gives it to you, and your job is to pass it on to the next person.
Yeah.
Don't let it stop with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the selfish part in life. But if you want to have a rich, full life, allow it to flow like a river. Once you find your flow like a river, you will understand that your feelings won't get hurt so bad when people come and go. Your feelings won't get hurt so bad when it's time for you to adjust and change and to have those hard conversations, because you know that your life is flowing and that the river is going to take you to the next destination.
Okay, y'all, in the flow state, how can people tap in with you, Renee? How can people get in touch with you? How can they learn? Like, what do you have anything going on a program or anything that people need to know to be connected?
Well, you can always go on my website, The Renee Experience, or the ReneeExperience.com. You can email me at Renee@TheReneeExperience.com. Also, all the social medias is Renee L. Cunningham. Even on TikTok, I give some good tips on there. I'm enjoying it. I love it itself. And I want people to know that during this summer time, as you continue to be around family and friends and have these new ideas, and if you need some readjusting, I have a program to help you readjust. Being able to really decide who you are and get your diamond insights. It's called the Diamond Insights. You are a diamond. Come let the diamond polisher help you out, be who you need to be, because living in this life, things happen. Dirt comes on you. You don't have to be dirty. You can keep moving and shine.
Love that. I cannot rap any better, y'all. Look, Renee is in our community here at Rich Mama's Club, and I know you have heard us mention that. Like I said, we just left a photo shoot earlier. We had an amazing time. It's our second year. We do all kind of events. But if you just want to know what that looks like, and you're like, hey, I need some mommy friends. I need someone to listen to. I need that wise counsel. And you want to learn more about Rich Mama's Club, stay tuned. Ciao. Let me try this again.
Hey mama, I know you enjoyed this episode. I just wanted to let you know that you should tap into community because you need friends. You deserve to be around people who love, support, and accept you for who you are and can hold your hand along this journey. So check out Rich Mama's Club. Thanks for watching.